Hello, everyone. Welcome to wool&coffee for this week, June 21st. I am here for the third video in our three-part series with our development team here at Wool&. So I'm joined today by Helena and Wallis. So welcome.
Thank you.
So first, I'm going to ask them to both do a quick introduction, and then we're kind of going to get into the meat of our interview. So let's start with Helena. Helena, I know you have been with this company for almost 4 years. Can you give us just a quick little background on you and kind of tell us about what you do here?
Sure. I'm the technical development manager for wool&. And in this role, I help develop the garments from the beginning to the very end.
Great. Anything else you want to add, or should we move on to Wallis?
We can move on to Wallis.
Okay. Wallis, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do here? And I believe you have been here almost 1 year. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm coming up on 1 year, and I'm a technical developer and pattern maker. So essentially, I do pretty much what Helena does. It's just that I also, in addition to doing technical design, I also make the actual patterns that our vendors use as well.
Wonderful. Okay, so let me check my notes. So first thing I have on our list for today is talking about a tech pack. So Helena, can you tell us a little bit about what a tech pack is and how it gets used by our team?
Sure. So the tech pack, the technical sort of description of a garment is a document that's anywhere between 12 to 20 pages that we put together for our vendor partners to help them develop a garment. And this technical package contains a lot of visuals, a lot of sketches. You'll see a front and a back sketch. You'll see sketches detailing construction that is difficult to see otherwise. You might have a sketch of the inside of the garment, showing them exactly the way we want it to look. You might also have a sketch of where the labels go, the label placements. And then we have a few pages showing what kind of fabric or fabrics we want the garment or the prototype to be made from. And then the details of the trims, for example, our Amalia button front dress. We need to indicate that we are having buttons in the front. Oh yeah, Rebecca is wearing. And for our Lou Moto jacket, for example, we need to indicate that we want a zipper in the front. So all those details go onto a few of the pages. And then we have several pages with measurements, of course, showing where the measurements are taken from and what the measurements are. And we show both our base sizes, which I believe Ellie already talked about. Our base sizes that we develop our garments are for misses, a size medium, and for our plus sizes, a size 2X. And then we have more pages showing how the garments get smaller for your small and extra small, etc., and showing also how it gets larger to sizes large, extra large, and extra extra large, and then of course our plus sizes as well. So that is the package, and that package, the development package, gets sent to our vendor partners so that they have then hopefully great help starting the development of a 3D garment for us. They make a pattern and then they sew up the garment and send that back to us so we can fit it on our fit models.
Okay.
And yeah.
Great. So then every product that gets sent over would be considered a prototype from that initial tech pack?
Yes, that initial garment is actually referred to as a prototype.
Okay. So then when the development team sees these prototypes, it sounds like what would happen with that once you receive that first prototype?
Yeah, so what happens when we receive the first prototype is that we go through a fit session, it's called. And that is actually what Wallis is going to take us through. We're both involved in fit sessions, but the great advantage of having a person like Wallis on the team is that she's a pattern maker. So not only can we adjust very difficult changes right here and quickly, but we have everything at our fingertips, basically, to get the best pattern possible for our customers in the end.
Wonderful.
Wallis is actually going to take us through a fit session.
Okay.
So over here, we have Audrey, as you can see. Recently we re-released her. So essentially when we're doing the fitting, the first thing that we're gonna do is when the model comes in, we would know anything that is that's out of spec on the garment. So what that means is we have these things called tolerances, where we don't expect every garment to be exactly like the pattern. We don't expect every garment to measure exactly the same. There's a little bit of give and take. So, tolerances are basically between 1/8 of an inch and 1/2 of an inch. So for example, if we get a garment and we know that the bust of the garment is supposed to measure 20 and it ends up measuring 22, then we know that we should take that measurement with kind of a grain of salt, because then we know that that is not what the final product is supposed to be. And so we don't judge that too harshly. Then while we're looking at the garments on the models, we would note if there are any fit issues, or if there's anything the designer wants to change. For example, if we got this in as a prototype, this is the final garment, but if it was a prototype, our designer might say, oh, I want to raise that neckline, or I want to lower it, or something like that. And we would note that as well, even though that is not, something that's like considered out of tolerance or anything like that. So once we have done all of that, once we've gone through a fit session with a garment, we then on our side will, in my case, I will change the pattern and send it back to the vendor, or we change the numbers and the specs within the tech pack, and then send it back to our vendor, and they would be the ones making the changes to the patterns. So essentially we go back and forth with our vendors until we are 100% happy with the fit, and then we call it fit approved, and then that is what goes out to the customer.
Okay. So how many different prototypes do you think a typical garment might have, or is there a range depending on what it is?
So typically we would go through 1 and 2 protos to start. Then we do what's called a tech sample, and that is when we actually see like the size range. That's when we see the graded sizes. And then after that, we would see a pre-production sample, which we abbreviate as PP sample. So technically, we typically see 4 rounds of our base sizes, if that makes sense. So we would see 4 rounds of the medium and 4 rounds of the 2X.
Wonderful. Okay. Is there anything else you want to add about doing a fitting on a fit model or our dress forms?
So I can actually go over basically what we decided to do with Audrey when we decided to re-release her, and give her a little bit of a glow up. So I want to talk about how we take customer feedback really seriously here. I want to assure you that when when there is any kind of customer feedback, good or bad, we definitely listen to that and we, take it into account. So some of the customer feedback that we got for Audrey was that there was some armhole gaping, and also that bra strap showed really easily on the back. So what we decided to do to mitigate these issues is we took in the bust quite a bit. So if you have a previous Audrey, you will probably notice that the chest fits a bit tighter now. And we did raise the armhole a little bit. And then we also just took out the shoulders a little bit. We widened what's called the across back measurement and the across shoulder. So that way it just had a little bit more bra coverage as well for your bra straps.
I love that. And I just got my first Audrey, actually. I got the ocean teal, and it is such a great fitting dress. So I love that you use these as an example.
Yeah, for
cool.
sure.
All right. So I can't think of anything else that we have on our notes, except for our last customer question that we were going to ask. Do you guys have anything to add before we do our last question?
No,
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, so we were chatting before this video and we realized that our dress forms, we have the 2 that are behind them. They don't have names, and these are very hardworking members of our team. They get fitted all the time. So we thought it would be fun to ask all of our customers to help name them. So if you have suggestions for names for these 2 dress forms, please drop them in the comments and our team will have some fun looking at what you suggest. So Helena and Wallis, thank you for joining me today. This has been really informational, and I am so glad that you could hop on and talk about what you do here. So Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Yes, thank
Thank you.
you.
Have a great day.
Bye.